So today we are taking Proverbs chapter 25. As we all know, Proverbs is the book that was written by King Solomon, and he has his wise sayings written in them. And we started from Proverbs chapter 1. Now we are on Proverbs chapter 25. And as always, we have to read it. And we'll just take 2 points or 2 verses. Then we'll just explain them. Then we are off to go. Okay, so Proverbs chapter 25, I'll start right away. Proverbs chapter 25, verse 1, it says, "These also are Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied. Verse 2 says, "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the glory of kings is to search out a matter." It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but it is the glory of kings to search out a matter. Verse 3 says, As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable." Verse 4 says, "Take away the dross from silver, and it will go to the silversmith for jewelry." Verse 5, it says, "Take away the wicked from before the kings, and his throne will be established in righteousness." Verse 6, it says, "Do not exalt yourself in the presence of the king, and do not stand in the place of great men." Verse 7, it says, "For it is better that he say to you, 'Come up here,' than that you should be put lower in the presence of the prince, whom your eyes have seen." Verse 8, it says, "Do not go hastily to court, for what will you do in the end, when your neighbor has put you to shame?" Do not go hastily to court, for what will you do in the end, when your neighbor has put you to shame? Verse 9 says, "Debate your case with your neighbor himself." Debate your case with your neighbor himself, and do not disclose the secret to another. Verse 10 says, "Lest he who hears it expose your shame, and your reputation be ruined." Verse 11 says, "A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in setting of silver." Verse 12 says, like an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold is a wise reprover to an obedient ear." Verse 13 says, "Like the cold of snow in time of harvest is a faithful messenger to those who send him, for he refreshes the soul of his masters." Verse 14, "Whoever falsely boasts of giving is like cloud and wind without rain." Whoever falsely boasts of giving is like cloud and wind without rain. Verse 15 says, "For long forbearance a ruler is persuaded, and a gentle tongue breaks a bone. And a gentle tongue breaks a bone." Verse 16, "Have you found honey? Eat only as much as you need, lest you be filled with it and vomit it." It says, "Have you found honey? Eat only as much as you need, lest you be filled with it and vomit." Verse 17, it says, "Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house, lest he become weary of you and hate you." Verse 18, "A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a club, a sword, and a sharp arrow." A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a club, a sword, and a sharp arrow. Verse 19 says, "Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth and a foot out of joint." That's how bad it is. It says, "Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth and a foot out of joint." Verse 20 says, "Like one who takes away a garment in cold weather, and like vinegar on soda, is one who sings song to a heavy heart." Verse 21, it says, "If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat. and if it's tasty, give him water to drink. Verse 22. For so you will heap coals of fire on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Verse, verse 23 says, the north wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue, an angry countenance. Verse 24. It is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Verse 25, it says, as cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. Verse 26, it says, a righteous man who flatters before the wicked is like a murky spring and a polluted well. Verse 27, it is not good to eat much honey, so seek one's own glory is not glory. It is not good to eat much honey, so to seek one's own glory is not glory. Verse 28, it says, whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. So that's the end of the chapter. Proverbs 25. That's the end. So I'll just take two verses, then we are off to go. The first one I would like to talk about is in verse 17. It says, seldom set foot in your neighbor's house, lest he become weary of you and hate you. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house, lest he become weary of you and hate you. Most of the time, people can easily get fed up with us when we go to them each and every time, asking for them for help or just going there each and every time. They can just get fed up of you. They may be annoyed, you may not know, but they may still welcome. So this verse is trying to tell us that don't always go to your neighbor's house. Don't always go to your neighbor's house. Stay in your house. Stay in your house. And it says, lest he become weary of you and hate you. Most of the time, you are prone to hate when you are always with the person, when you are always at the person's house, when you are always before the person. You are prone to be hated. And this verse is protecting us from that. So it's telling us that don't always get to your neighbor's house. Don't always go there. But have time, have boundaries, as we call it. Have boundaries. And keep some distance at times. Don't always go there. Just go there sometimes, then other times just stay at your house. Just stay at your house. The next one I want us to talk about is 21. So 25, 21. It says, if your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat. And if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. I'll read the next verse 22. It says, for so you will heap coals on fire. You will heap coals of fire on his head, and the Lord will reward you. If your enemy is hungry, feed him. Give him bread to eat. Most of the time, people think that if you have an enemy, it means that you should be bad to that enemy. You shouldn't give them anything when they ask you for something, or when you see that they are in need of something, you shouldn't give them anything. But that's a wrong mindset. That's a wrong mindset. And this verse is telling us that we should do the otherwise. We should give them, when they are hungry, we should give them bread. When they are thirsty, we should give them drink to drink. We should give them water. We should give them anything they need. Just because they are your enemy doesn't mean that you shouldn't give them anything. No. Being a child of God means that you give everyone everything they need. Anything they need, you give it to them. Anything they need, you give it to them. And I like the last part of the verse 22. It says, and the Lord will reward you. The Lord will reward you. Most of the time, people think, oh, I'll only give you something only when you're a good person. But that shouldn't be the case. Even if the person is bad, give them food to eat, give them water to drink. So looking at our prisons, they give them food to drink, they give them water to drink. Just because they killed people, they destroy people's properties and all these things doesn't mean that you shouldn't give them anything. They give them something to keep them alive, to keep them alive. And that's how we Christians have to be. You must give them food if they are hungry. You must give them drink if they are thirsty. If they are thirsty. I hope these two verses blesses you today and helps you throughout your life so that you can follow suit. You can do them in your life and just be a good Christian. This is some of the things we learn each and every day so that we can build ourselves up. We can build ourselves up. And I'm grateful you are here. You've followed through up to this very minute. I'd like to say thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for watching this video. And just the verses we talked about today, just keep it in mind. Read the chapter again. Read the chapter again. And you'll be blessed. Remember that God will reward you when you feed your enemies, when they are hungry, when you give them drink, when they are thirsty. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye bye.